Well, Dr. Dьоп, it's very nice to be back to meet you again. I have been really looking forward to this meeting. What we talked about the last time, in September 2007, I have reflected a lot about and observed in people and what is going on. And the reason why I ask to meet you again is that I would like to make it even more concrete to people, because I see all that we talked about is happening, and it's increasing every day. And it's very interesting about the information in the energies we're talking about when we talk about radiation pulsating from the wireless society, and this term, the switching of the brain. Could you describe it very clearly, so it's very easy for people to understand what is really happening?
The problem is that people do not recognize it or do not realize that they are switched. Why? As the ratio, the upper part of the brain is functioning like before, but the connections inside the brain do not exist anymore. That means no connection or association or communication between the two hemispheres. The right-handed man has left-hand side the ratio and here the emotions. And so ratio and emotions do not communicate. But we are living on the level of the ratio, or if it works well, on the level of the reason, but usually only intellectual level. And nobody knows that he has no more communication to his emotions, to his feelings. And this is because the hemispheres have no connection, and the upper part of the brain and the lower parts of the brain, the old parts of the brain, like the nuclei and the thalamus and hypothalamus, they have no connection too. Only the ratio is working. The intellectual performance may be good, usually good, but I have no deeper feeling. I don't know what is going on in my emotional life. The emotional life has a blockage, and so what in earlier times we called subconsciousness now is much bigger. The emotions are also inside the subconsciousness. They are no more open to me. The emotions are as closed to me as the subconsciousness was and is. And so my life is going only as a way of function, as a way like a robot does. Man becomes like a robot, and or you can say his life is like a voodoo. What does mean voodoo? That means if most parts and the most important parts of my brain are no more open to me, but they are living, of course, although I don't know them, I can be manipulated, like in the voodoo. In the voodoo I have a puppet, and I put a needle into the puppet, and the victim will get a pain or will die, perhaps. This is a typical kind of manipulation, and similarly we are all manipulated by every influence on our feelings and emotions and subconsciousness, and we do not know it, we do not recognize it. We are only living on the supra-consciousness level.
Okay, this explains something, because I have felt, especially since I was here the last time, that it seems like people are becoming more and more unconscious. And the reactions are so wild, little things, they just reacts so wild that it's actually scary for me, and I have a lot of temper. But this is so wild, it's so primitive in a way. I don't understand how people can behave so primitive. They say with words, they love you and they care about you and you are so great and everything. And 2 days after, when you say to them, oh, no, I cannot help you change the fuse. I have a funny incident with a fuse that went, and the person reacted so strongly that it was kind of a metaphor, the fuse. And what you're just saying is that actually that's the main reason for people are getting unconscious, you can say, is that their brain is switched by the electrosmog or wireless society.
Yes, and the strongest part of the brain, which we do not know anymore, is the so-called reptile brain, the oldest brain. And this is, of course, a very brutal part of the brain. That means fighting each other becomes the main occurrence in our society, and the egoism, the egocentrism becomes more and more important. And what we learned by our Christian heritage, to love each other, it does not exist anymore. Nobody can love himself or another one or even God if he has no connection to his own feelings. That's a nonsense. It will not happen anymore. And so, of course, like in the subconsciousness, if I suppress my traumata and my traumas into the subconsciousness, it becomes more and more dirty. It becomes like in Cornwall, the moor. It becomes a moor, and what comes out are perversions. Is it correct? Perversions.
Yeah.
And if we look around in our world, what's happening? Perversions. The morality and the ethics are degenerating, and the old immoral human heritage, like at the Romans, they had games and breed, and they were happy when people were killed. This will come up again.
Yeah. When you say the dirty or the perversions, do you know the term, the pain body? Eckhart Tolle, the spiritual teacher, he talks about the pain body. That's all you can say, the unconscious feelings and associations that just, you say something to people and then they empty their dustbin over you with all things that has nothing to do with the situation. It's like they cannot separate things anymore. It's just all mixed up together. So they react in a completely without reason.
Yes,